Feeling Good, The New Mood Therapy by David D. Burns, MD. Audiobook summary and book review brought to you by Story Shots. TLDR. Feeling good proves that your thoughts, not life events, create your emotions. Dr. Burns introduces 10 cognitive distortions, twisted thinking patterns that cause depression and anxiety. Using simple CBT tools like the Daily Mood Log, you can challenge negative thoughts and feel better without medication. Key insight: your thoughts create your emotions. Therefore, your emotions cannot prove that your thoughts are accurate. Introduction. Have you ever felt trapped in a cycle of sadness, worry, or self-doubt that seems impossible to escape? What if I told you that the key to breaking free isn't changing your circumstances, but changing how you think about them? In his groundbreaking book, Feeling Good, The New Mood Therapy, Dr. David D. Burns introduces a revolutionary idea that has transformed millions of lives. Your thoughts, not the things that happen to you, create your feelings. This concept forms the foundation of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and it's not just theoretical. It's been scientifically tested and proven to work as well as antidepressant medication for many people. Mental health professionals worldwide have called it the most important book ever written about depression, and with over 5 million copies sold, it continues to change lives every day. What makes this book so special isn't just its scientific backing, but its practical approach. Unlike traditional therapy that can take years, CBT provides immediate, actionable tools you can use today. The techniques are simple enough for anyone to understand, yet powerful enough to create lasting change. What type of twisted thinking do you notice in yourself the most? Drop a comment below and let's start a conversation about mental health. Who this book is for. Feeling Good speaks to anyone struggling with depression, anxiety, negative thought patterns, or perfectionism. Whether you're a mental health professional seeking evidence-based techniques, a self-help enthusiast looking for practical tools, or someone simply wanting better emotional wellness, this book provides drug-free solutions that actually work. About the author David D. Burns. Dr. Burns is a clinical psychiatrist and professor emeritus at Stanford University School of Medicine, who pioneered the popularization of cognitive behavioral therapy. His work has earned him numerous awards, and Feeling Good has become the most recommended self-help book for depression by mental health experts across the United States and Canada. Story Shot 1: The Life-Changing Foundation. Your thoughts create your feelings. This is perhaps the most important concept you'll ever learn about emotions, and it completely flips conventional wisdom on its head. Most people believe that events directly cause feelings. You get fired, so you feel sad. Someone criticizes you, so you feel angry. But Dr. Burns discovered something revolutionary. Between any event and your emotional response, there's always a thought. And here's the game-changing part. You can control your thoughts, which means you can control your emotions. The CBT formula is event causes thought, which in turn causes the feeling. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this principle. Sarah was driving to her dream job interview when she got a flat tire. Now, this single event could unfold in two completely different ways depending on her thoughts. In the first scenario, Sarah's mind immediately went to catastrophic thinking. This is a total disaster. I'll be late for my meeting. They'll think I'm irresponsible. I'll never get this job. My career is over. These thoughts triggered intense panic, despair, and anxiety. Her heart raced. She started sweating and felt nauseous. Overwhelmed by these emotions, she called in sick, went home, and avoided rescheduling for weeks. The missed opportunity reinforced her negative beliefs about herself. But imagine if Sarah had thought differently. Same flat tire, same timing, but this time her thought was, "This is frustrating." But things happen. I'll call to explain, ask to reschedule, and most reasonable employers will understand. This realistic thinking led to manageable frustration and mild anxiety. She felt slight tension but remained in control. She called the employer immediately, explained the situation professionally, rescheduled for the next day, and ultimately got the job. The same event, completely different emotional outcome. Sarah in the second scenario not only got the job, but also built confidence in her ability to handle unexpected challenges with grace. The science behind it. Recent neuroscience research supports this insight. When you examine your thoughts, you literally change your brain structure. Brain imaging studies reveal that thoughts create immediate chemical reactions. Negative thoughts trigger stress hormones, while positive thoughts release happiness chemicals. You're essentially a walking pharmacy, and your thoughts are the prescription. Mind-blowing realization. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You're the author of your emotional experience. Can you think of a time when changing your perspective changed everything? Share it in the comments. Story Shot 2. The 10 Twisted Thinking Patterns, or Your Mind's Dirty Tricks. Dr. Burns identified 10 specific patterns of distorted thinking that act like a broken filter in your brain, making everything look worse than it actually is. People with depression use these patterns up to 10 times more often than those without depression. The good news? Once you learn to spot these mental tricks, you can start to fix them. As Dr. Burns says, your feelings result from the messages you give yourself. In fact, your thoughts often have much more to do with how you feel than what is actually happening in your life. All or nothing thinking, the perfectionist's curse. This distortion makes you see things as either perfect or terrible, with no middle ground. Mark, a successful lawyer, experienced this when he got a B+ on his bar exam review course. Instead of celebrating this excellent grade, he thought, "I'm a complete failure. I'll never be a good lawyer." This single thought pattern triggered a 6-month depression that almost ended his promising career. The danger of all or nothing thinking is that it sets impossible standards. Since perfection is unattainable, you're guaranteed to feel like a failure most of the time. The antidote is the 80-20 rule. Aim for 80% on most tasks and reserve perfectionism for only the critical 20%. Overgeneralization, the always or never trap. This happens when you see one negative event as proof that everything will always go wrong. Jessica experienced this after one awkward conversation at a networking event. She concluded, "I'm always so weird around people. I'll never be good at networking." She avoided professional events for 2 years, significantly hurting her career advancement. The irony? Her colleagues actually found her authentic and refreshing. The pattern involves trigger words like always, never, everyone, and no one. It creates time distortion where one event becomes a lifetime pattern and you become blind to contradictory evidence. The fix is becoming an evidence detective. Catch the generalization, challenge it with specifics, and reframe realistically. Mental filter, the negativity magnifying glass. This distortion is like wearing glasses that only let you see negative things. Tom experienced this after giving a presentation to 50 people. He received 49 positive comments and 1 constructive criticism about his slide formatting. Instead of feeling good about the overwhelming positive response, he spent the entire weekend obsessing over the one negative comment, convinced his presentation was a disaster. This happens because our brains have a negativity bias. We're evolutionarily wired to focus on threats. What helped our ancestors survive now sabotages our happiness. The antidote is the 3-to-1 positive focus rule. For every negative detail you notice, force yourself to find 3 positive ones. Disqualifying the positive, the happiness thief. This is even worse than the mental filter because you don't just ignore good things, you actively turn them into bad things. Maria got promoted to manager but told herself, "They only promoted me because they couldn't find anyone else. I don't really deserve this." She spent her first month feeling like a fraud instead of celebrating her achievement. Common disqualifying phrases include, "It was just luck," "Anyone could have done it," and "They're just being nice." The fix is simple but powerful. Accept compliments and positive experiences at face value. When someone praises you, simply say, "Thank you," instead of arguing. Jumping to conclusions. This comes in two forms: mind reading, assuming you know what others think, and fortune telling, predicting disaster. David's boss seemed distracted during their meeting, so David immediately thought, "He's planning to fire me. I must have done something wrong." He spent 3 sleepless nights worrying before discovering his boss was dealing with a family emergency and was actually pleased with David's work. Studies show that 85% of what we worry about never happens. The fix is asking yourself, "What evidence do I have for this thought?" and testing assumptions directly. The remaining distortions include magnification, making problems huge and successes tiny; emotional reasoning, believing feelings are facts; should statements, harsh internal rules; labeling, name-calling instead of describing behavior; and personalization, taking blame for everything. Viral challenge. Which cognitive distortion is your biggest enemy? Comment below with just the number, 1 to 10, and let's see which one is most common. Story Shot 3, the CBT Toolkit, Your Weapons Against Negative Thinking. These aren't just techniques, they're scientifically proven tools that can literally rewire your brain. Neuroplasticity research shows that consistent practice of these methods creates new neural pathways that make positive thinking automatic. The Daily Mood Log, your emotional GPS. Think of the Daily Mood Log as having a GPS for your emotions. It helps you track where you are emotionally and navigate to where you want to be. This tool is so effective that many therapists use it as their primary intervention. Rachel, a marketing executive, was having panic attacks before every client presentation. Using the Daily Mood Log for 30 days, she reduced her anxiety from 90 out of 100 to 25 out of 100 and got promoted within 6 months. The process involves 6 steps that transform how you process difficult emotions. First, you identify the specific upsetting event. Not "had a bad day at work," but "boss criticized my report in front of the team at 2 p.m. meeting." Being specific helps you identify patterns and triggers more effectively. Next, you name and rate your emotions from 1 to 100, using specific words like embarrassed rather than just bad. Then you capture your automatic negative thoughts exactly as they appear, without censoring or making them nicer. The 4th step involves identifying which cognitive distortions are present. Often, one thought contains multiple distortions. The 5th step is where transformation happens, creating a rational response by asking what you'd tell your best friend in this situation, what evidence contradicts the thought, and what a more balanced perspective would be. Finally, you re-rate your emotions. Most people see a 40 to 60% reduction in negative emotions after one session. The key is doing this exercise within 24 hours of the upsetting event and practicing with smaller upsets first to build the skill. The double column technique, putting thoughts on trial. This technique treats your negative thoughts like a legal case. You become both the prosecutor challenging the thought and the defense attorney finding evidence against it. Consider this example. I'll never find love. I'm 35, still single, and there's something fundamentally wrong with me. All the good people are taken. The rational response might be, many people find love at all ages. My aunt met her husband at 42. Being single at 35 is increasingly common and doesn't indicate anything wrong with me. I have many wonderful qualities. I'm kind, funny, and have close friendships. The right person for me is still out there, and I'm becoming a better partner by working on myself. The pleasure predicting sheet. Rediscovering joy. When you're depressed, your brain lies to you about how much you'll enjoy activities. This tool helps you test those predictions and rediscover that life can be enjoyable. John, a depressed accountant, predicted he'd get 10% pleasure from going to a movie with friends. His actual pleasure was 75%. After tracking 20 activities, he realized his brain was systematically lying to him about how much he could enjoy life. Depression creates anhedonia, the seeming inability to feel pleasure. But research shows this is often a prediction error, not an actual inability to feel good. By systematically testing your predictions against reality, you can break the cycle of avoidance that feeds depression. Which tool sounds most helpful for your situation? Let us know in the comments which one you're going to try first. Story Shot 4. Building Bulletproof Self-Esteem, the Foundation of Mental Health. Self-esteem isn't about thinking you're perfect. It's about having a stable sense of worth that doesn't fluctuate with external circumstances. Dr. Burns discovered that people with healthy self-esteem share 3 key characteristics. They silence their inner critic, embrace imperfection, and practice self-compassion. Silencing your inner critic. Your inner critic is like having a mean roommate in your head who never pays rent, but constantly criticizes everything you do. This voice often sounds like a parent, teacher, or other authority figure from your past, delivering messages like, "You're not good enough," "Everyone else is better than you," and "You don't deserve good things." Lisa recorded her self-talk for one day and was horrified when she played it back. "I would never talk to my worst enemy the way I talk to myself." The solution involves a 4-step process. Name your inner critic. Giving it a personality creates psychological distance. Challenge its credentials. What qualifications does this voice have? To judge your worth. Talk back to it like you would to a bully, and replace it with your inner ally, a compassionate voice that sounds like your best friend. Beating perfectionism, the success killer. Here's the perfectionism paradox. Perfectionism doesn't lead to better performance. It leads to procrastination, anxiety, and burnout. Perfectionists are 3 times more likely to develop eating disorders and twice as likely to have relationship problems. Michael, a software engineer, spent 40 hours perfecting a presentation that should have taken 8 hours. His perfect presentation was only marginally better than his colleague's good enough version, but Michael missed his daughter's soccer game and felt exhausted. As Dr. Burns says, aim for success, not perfection. Never give up your right to be wrong, because then you will lose the ability to learn new things and move forward with your life. The solution is the 80-20 perfectionism strategy. Use 80% effort for 80% of tasks, daily emails, routine reports, regular meetings, and reserve 100% effort for the critical 20%, major presentations, important deadlines, key relationships. Developing self-compassion. Dr. Kristen Neff's research shows that self-compassion is more predictive of mental health than self-esteem. People with high self-compassion have significantly less anxiety and depression, more motivation to improve, better relationships, and greater resilience during setbacks. Self-compassion has 3 components: self-kindness versus self-judgment, treating yourself like a good friend rather than a harsh critic; common humanity versus isolation, remembering that everyone struggles rather than feeling alone; and mindfulness versus over-identification, observing emotions without becoming them. When you're suffering, try the self-compassion break. Place your hand on your heart and say, "This is a moment of suffering. Suffering is part of life. May I be kind to myself." Self-compassion challenge. Write yourself a kind note and put it somewhere you'll see it tomorrow. What would you want to hear on a tough day? Share your favorite self-compassion phrase in the comments. Story Shot 5. Overcoming procrastination and guilt, the productivity killers. Procrastination and guilt create a vicious cycle. You procrastinate because you feel overwhelmed, then feel guilty about procrastinating, which makes you more overwhelmed, leading to more procrastination. Understanding the procrastination equation can help break this cycle. The equation is procrastination equals expectancy times value divided by impulsiveness times delay. Sarah needs to write a report but keeps procrastinating because she has low expectancy of doing well, sees low value in the task, has high impulsiveness toward distractions, and the deadline feels far away. The fix involves increasing expectancy and value while decreasing impulsiveness and delay. Effective anti-procrastination techniques include the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. The 15-minute miracle. Commit to working on a dreaded task for just 15 minutes. And the Swiss cheese method. Poking random holes in a project instead of working linearly. Guilt. The useless emotion. Dr. Burns makes the controversial claim that guilt is completely useless because it doesn't motivate positive change. It just makes you feel terrible and less likely to take constructive action. He distinguishes between healthy guilt, actually remorse, and unhealthy guilt. Healthy guilt leads to apology, behavior change, and learning. I hurt my friend's feelings. I should apologize and be more thoughtful next time. Unhealthy guilt leads to self-punishment, avoidance, and shame spirals. I'm a terrible person for hurting my friend. I don't deserve forgiveness. The guilt-busting process involves identifying the hidden should statement. Guilt always contains one. Challenging whether this rule is realistic for humans, and reframing with self-compassion by replacing harsh rules with preferences. Guilt check. What's one thing you've been feeling guilty about that you could let go of today? Sometimes sharing helps us realize how normal our struggles are. Story Shot 6. Anger and relationships. The hidden emotional patterns. Anger is often called a secondary emotion because it usually masks hurt, fear, or frustration. Understanding this can transform your relationships and emotional well-being. Dr. Burns discovered that anger follows a simple equation. Anger equals hurt plus blame. You feel angry when you're hurt, and you blame someone else for that hurt. Remove either element, and the anger dissolves. When Tom's wife forgot their anniversary, he could respond with high anger. She doesn't care about me or our relationship. Or low anger. She's been stressed with work and probably just forgot. Same hurt, different blame, completely different emotional outcome. Effective anger management involves cost-benefit analysis of holding on to anger. Most people discover it costs more than it benefits. The empathy method, trying to understand the other person's perspective, and the assertiveness formula, state the facts, express your feelings, and make a request without attacking. Anger reality check. What's one relationship in your life that could improve if you let go of some anger? Sometimes the first step is just acknowledging it. Love this content? If you're listening to this on our podcast, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could take 30 seconds to rate us 5 stars on Spotify or leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. Your support helps us reach more people who need these life-changing insights. Mental models from feeling good. The ABC model provides a framework for understanding emotions. A, activating event, leads to B, beliefs, thoughts, which determines C, consequences, feelings. Most people think A causes C, but it's actually B that determines C. This means you have control over your emotional life through your thoughts. The self-esteem formula challenges conventional wisdom. Self-esteem does not equal performance plus approval plus love. True self-esteem comes from within and isn't dependent on external validation. This is a radical shift from how most people think about self-worth. Mind-bending question. If your self-worth isn't based on what you achieve or what others think of you, what is it based on? Share your thoughts in the comments. Implementation Guide, your 30-day Feeling Good Challenge. Week 1 focuses on awareness and recognition. Your goal is to become aware of your thought patterns without judgment. Learn about 2 to 3 cognitive distortions each day. Set 3 phone alarms to check in with your thoughts and keep a small notebook for negative thoughts. Don't try to change anything yet, just observe. Week 2 introduces basic tools. Begin actively challenging your negative thoughts by completing 1 daily mood log entry, daily, and practicing the double column technique for 10 minutes. Start with less emotionally charged situations to build your skills. Week 3 emphasizes developing a kinder relationship with yourself. Use the pleasure predicting sheet for 2 activities daily. Practice 1 self-compassion exercise. Challenge your inner critic when it appears, and write yourself 1 kind note. Week 4 focuses on integration and habits. Combine multiple CBT techniques, apply tools to more challenging situations, plan your continued practice beyond 30 days, and celebrate your progress. 30-day challenge. Who's ready to commit to 30 days of better mental health? Comment, "I'm in," and let's support each other through this journey. Key life-changing quotes. Your thoughts create your emotions. Therefore, your emotions cannot prove that your thoughts are accurate. This is the foundation of CBT and the most important concept in the book. It means your feelings, while valid, aren't necessarily based on facts. Aim for success, not perfection. Never give up your right to be wrong, because then you will lose the ability to learn new things and move forward with your life. A powerful reminder that perfectionism is the enemy of progress and happiness. Your feelings result from the messages you give yourself. In fact, your thoughts often have much more to do with how you feel than what is actually happening in your life. This quote shows how much control you really have over your emotional experience. You feel the way you think. The simplest way to remember the core message of the book: change your thinking, change your life. Quote challenge. Which quote resonates most with you? Share it in the comments and tell us why it speaks to you. Final summary and review of Feeling Good, You Have the Power. Feeling Good isn't just a book. It's a complete system for taking control of your mental health. The techniques have been scientifically proven to be as effective as antidepressant medication for many people, but without the side effects. What makes this book revolutionary is its evidence-based approach, practical tools, accessible language, comprehensive coverage, and empowering message. The book's central message is one of empowerment. You have the power to change the way you feel by changing the way you think. By learning to identify and challenge your negative thoughts, you can break free from the grip of depression and anxiety and cultivate a more positive and realistic outlook on life. Remember, the journey to feeling good is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be ups and downs along the way, but with the tools from Feeling Good, you'll be well equipped to handle whatever life throws your way. Transformation Challenge. What's one small change you're going to make today based on what you've learned? Share it in the comments and inspire others to take action too. Related Story Shots audiobook summaries. If you enjoyed this summary of Feeling Good, you'll love these related book summaries that complement and expand on these mental health concepts. Essential Mental Health and CBT Companions. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Pairs perfectly with Burns' CBT techniques, offering timeless wisdom on overcoming worry. The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk provides groundbreaking insights into how trauma affects the brain and body. Mindfulness in Plain English by Henepola Gunaratana offers a clear guide to mindfulness meditation that enhances CBT techniques. Resilience and Personal Growth. Option B by Sheryl Sandberg explores resilience after tragedy, showing how to build mental strength. The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin provides research-based strategies for increasing joy alongside CBT techniques. Mindset by Carol Dweck reveals the power of growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Productivity and the self-improvement. Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy tackles procrastination with 21 powerful techniques. The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins provides a simple tool for overcoming hesitation and taking action. The 80-20 Principle by Richard Koch shows how to achieve more by doing less. Advanced Personal Development. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown teaches how to cultivate courage, compassion, and connection. Unfuck Yourself by Gary John Bishop delivers no-nonsense advice for getting unstuck. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson offers a counterintuitive approach to living well. Ikigai by Albert Lieberman and Hector Garcia reveals the Japanese secrets to longevity and purpose. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday teaches stoic wisdom for turning trials into triumphs. Reading Challenge. Which book are you adding to your reading list next? Let us know in the comments. You've completed a comprehensive summary of Feeling Good. You have tools to transform mental health. Share this with someone who might benefit.